Vice President of Peking University Third Hospital, and Mr. Lu Guoyue, the Vice President of the First Hospital of Dalian University. Now I first give the floor to Mr. Hu Junbo. Friends from the media, good afternoon. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, the Tongji Hospital of Huazhong University of Science and Technology, we encourage the party leaders to play a leading role and led the whole team to fight on the front line against the virus. And we show the full dedication to overcome the challenges. On January 25th, the Zhongfa Xincheng campus was identified as the designated hospital for severe and critical patients of COVID-19. And January 27th, we started to admit the patients with COVID-19. Right now, we have 23 hospital wards, including 2 ICUs, with available beds, 1,085. Right now, we have 1,020 patients. We have 790 severe patients and 166 critical patients. We admitted 1,251 severe cases, 97 cured and discharged from the hospitals. Since January 27, Zhongfa Xincheng campus received the first group of medic teams, 8 Hubei, and we have 18 teams, 2,040 medics taking over the 18 inpatient wards, like the team from Beijing Hospital and the Peking University Third Hospital and Dalian Hospital. And we talk about the experts. We have the president of the Beijing Union Hospital, Academician Wang Chen and Academician Qiao Jie. All the medical team attach great importance to the work and led by the president of the hospital or the secretary of the party committee, working with 173 medics in Tongji. We work together to conduct our work to treat the patients of COVID-19. The National Health Commission conducted several on-field meetings to push forward our work in a coordinated way, and also we utilize different methods to leverage the strengths of the national medical teams and help us to solve the issue to curing the patients with severe cases and lower the mortality rates. Talking about the details, first, the medical teams from other provinces organized the hospital affair office with the Tongji University. So we help to register the information of patients, and we also conduct discussion on the death cases and also make transportation of the patients. We also establish different kinds of handbook and also set up the standards and the working process, and also set up the standards on quality control. Second, we also establish an expert panel. So each team sent 2 to 3 experts from Department of ICU, CCM, infectious disease, respiratory. So it's a cross-discipline experts team. By doing so, we can fully leverage the technical strengths from the national level. And for the complicated cases, we can conduct a consultation and also can conduct a discussion on the death cases. So it's better for us to learn the lessons and also summarize the experience to cure other patients. And we also establish the nursing teams so we can mobilize the whole resources of nursing and give the targeted treatment and a patient-oriented treatment. And with the cooperation with Tongji Hospital and medics, we can tell we have a really good chemicals going on. And the national team, the mobilized resources, integrated resources, and also work coordinatedly with Tongji Hospital. We can see more patients being cured, and we also lower the fatality rate. Coming forward, we have stay united with firm confidence with high capabilities and work together to treat the patient. We have every reason to believe that with the help and concerted efforts of 3,500 medics, we will for sure win the battle against the virus and also finish successfully the mission given by the CPC Central Committee and the country. Now I give the floor to Mr. Xi Heng to talk about the work of a Beijing hospital. Good afternoon. On January 26, we received the requirement given by the NHC and to establish a team with 143 and dispatched and arrived in Wuhan on January 26 and February 7th, led by the President Wang Jian. We also organize a cross-discipline experts and also the nurses from different departments in Wuhan and have taken over the one ICU in Zhongfa Xincheng campus of Tongji Hospital. We have 8 directors of the departments, the nurses in charge, also 8. Also in our medics, we have the president of the hospital and also the chief director of the Department of Respiratory Medicine. They all had a rich experience in fighting against SARS, and we also have 6 nurses in the mission against SARS. After we arrived in Wuhan, we rushed to the front line. Within 24 hours after we arrived, we admitted all patients and conducted work to treat the patients with severe and critical symptoms. And we also firmly conduct the 3 checks up. So first, the medics should conduct self-checking and also peers checking among the teams, and also have the specific person to conduct nosocomial infectious management in order to better protect our medics. At the same time, in order to increase our efficiency of treatment, we also dispatched different patch of the medics. We talk about the high flow of the non-invasive respiratories, the machine for the hemodialysis. So that help us to increase the admission rate, cure rate, and lower the mortality rate. So far, we received 51 patients. 38 are severe, and 3 are critical. And good news for today is after more than 10 days of hard work, we have the patients meet our standards discharged from the hospital. Based on our consultation, today and tomorrow we will still have 3 to 5 patients who may have the possibility to be cured and discharged from the hospitals. It's a really tight schedule for all the medics, but we keep a really high morale and we stay professional and concentrated to the work fight on the front lines. We show what we have and to shoulder our responsibilities and treat the patients and hit the target given by the party and the people. And I give the floor to Madam Shen Ning to introduce the work made by Peking University's 3rd hospital. Friends from the media, good afternoon. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, Peking University's 3rd hospital, after received the announcement given by the NHC, we quickly established 3 batches, including 32 doctors, 100 nurses, and the staff from the nosocomial department. So total we have 137 medic teams to Hubei. So they help to taking over the inpatient wards, help to increase the cure rate, lower the mortality rate. After the first batch arrived in Hubei, we work with other 5 national teams and 6 teams from other provinces. We took over the first ward. 6 days after that, we also work with other 2 hospitals from Peking universities. We took over a second ward in Hubei Province. And we also work with Henan team to train their medics to increase the capabilities. And on the evening of the Lantern Festival Day, we took over the third ward and started to admit patients. Throughout the whole process, we admitted the total number of patients, 153, among which 120 is severe cases, 33 critical cases. For our hospital, actually, this is the first team to send this large number of medics to the other provinces to provide assistance. Talking about this mission, the Department of Infectious Disease, Department of CCM, the Emergency Infectious Disease, they are the core member of the working force. This is a newly established medic team, so we also help to train the team, let the whole team can work as one, and to own the knowledge to cure the patient. After we arrived at the Zhongfa campus, of course, we faced some difficulties with the help of the medics in Tongji Hospital and also other medics from other provinces. And we get more knowledge about the disease and also know more about the etiologies. And we also get used to the whole environment, because we're from the northern part of China, so we got more used to the environment here in Hubei. So we work together and to reach the more progress. So rely on the leverage of Peking University. We had our own consultation center every day. We had a discussion on the key cases. And for the critical cases, the severe cases, we also have a standardized process based on scientific manner, and we also have the new medicine treatment and also the respiratory treatment. By doing so, we hope to increase the cure rate. And during the process, we also led the party committee to play a key role. We established the party committee, led the party committee to take the leading role and create the morale. And we also have a lot of young people in our team. We also have the organizers and to let the young doctors to stay closely to each other. For this time, actually, that also have a big pressure to the patient, and we also bring our Sunshine program from the Peking University Third Hospital to the Hubei, because it's something quite owned by ourselves. I believe through the joint efforts of doctors, nurses, and patients, we will for sure win the battle. Thank you, Madam Shen Ning. Now I give the floor to Lu Guoyue to talk about the first hospital of Dalian University's work in Hubei. Friends from the media, good afternoon. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, Dalian University attached great importance. We sent 6 batches with 210 medics in Hubei. Right now, we have 133 medics working in Zhongfa Xincheng campus. 133 medics started from February 9th. We took over Zhongfa Xincheng 1 ward with 55 beds. We have 46 patients, 9 severe cases, critical case, and 37 severe cases. So we first established the ICU treatment environment, because when we arrived at the Zhongfa Xincheng campus, just renovated. So we dispatched 4 medics for ICU, and we also sent the medical supplies, the invasive respiratory ECMO, and the equipment for dialysis machine, and that's sent from Changchun and Shanghai. Right now, all the equipment are in place and in operation, help us also buy more time to cure the patient. And the CCTV also made a coverage in this regard. Second, we have the clear role and responsibility and goals. We start our admission on February 9th in order to learn full knowledge of the patient. So based on the age group, the therapy standards, and their underlying or the chronic disease. So we also classify the patients as high risk or low risk. So make sure patients with high risk develop to the critical cases, which means we should have the alarm systems. If possible, we should give the treatment at an early time. And we also should touch importance on the patients with low risk, make sure they can reach the standard of discharging from the hospital as early as possible. And we also better utilize the medical supplies, because right now we see the patients, the aged patients with underlying or chronic diseases. So we conduct a remote consultation with the experts in Dalian that also help us to give the guidance for us, the patients on the front line. And we also have the consultation process, and we discuss the cases who need more care and who may develop into the severe critical cases. So we will work with the medics from around the country to effectively increase the cure rate, lower the mortality rate, and also lower the rate of infectious disease or the infections happen to the medics. Thank you. Now the floor is open. Please identify your media affiliation before asking questions. Renmin News Agency. Mr. Hu mentioned the Tongji Hospital of the Huazhong University of Science and Technology sent 17 medical teams. How you conduct your work to effectively increase the cure rate of patients. Thank you for your patience. For Tongji Hospital, we received assistance, and we conduct the following works. First, with the strong support given by the government at all levels, we how to provide a service to the 18 medics so they do not have any difficulties in accommodation, transportation. And we also stay closely to the medics teams, and we also had meeting regularly with the leaders of each medical teams to let them get used to the environment of Zhongfa Xincheng campus and to familiar with the working process, and to train the staff before hands-on. So by doing so, they can quickly start the work. And we also mobilize all available medical supplies and equipment, make sure that 18 medical teams can operate their work normally, and also to give the treatment to the patients with critical or severe symptoms. And we also let the official, the hospital fair office to play its role. So we will make sure the information is unimpeded flow among the teams, and also make sure the different methods, different measures implemented well. And fifth, we also like a national team to play a key role. So a national team help to take over the one ward of the department, and we also organize a panel of experts who conduct discussions on the complex cases, and also to summarize the good learnings or practice and roll out to the other cases in order to improve the capability of treatment. All in all, so far, the team in Tongji Hospital and the teams from other provinces create a synergy, and we see more patients being cured, and the mortality rate is improved, is lower. The treatment to patients of critical and severe cases is improved. With CMG CCTV, so talking about based on the experience of the ICU treatment, how we can effectively increase the cure rate. Thank you for your questions. Actually, your questions is a key concern of everyone. As we know, the novel coronavirus, that case divided into two parts. First, is critical case or severe cases, so their respiratory failure, that's one of the death reason. And second is their death because of the underlying diseases. So in order to increase the cure rate of patients with critical or severe cases, it's very important to give the treatment across discipline. So for our admitted patients, so some of them actually with the issues like the hemodialysis, so or the other diseases. So we talk about the medical teams, actually a newly organized team, so how we can really to bring the best team to treat the patients with critical conditions. So we do a good classification on our patients, although they are all the severe or the critical cases, but we also identify them based on their different levels of illness. And our nursing also have the same logic applied. And it's a novel coronavirus. It's a new type of disease. So we work actively with the medics from Wuhan and also from other provinces. Hope we can have a better understanding and knowledge of the novel coronavirus before we just give the asymptomatic treatment. And right now we would like to give more the treatment. So basically saying that we can give the treatment ahead of time at the early stage to the patients. And also talk about this disease. Actually, it's very important to give the patients mental care. So because for the patients, they stayed in the ICU or other wards for quite a long time. They cannot really talk to their family members. So giving the psychological counseling is also one of the very important measures to treat our patients. So we conducted a lot of research and also would like to roll out the research and development of the TCM and also the vaccines and other medicines. And also, we streamline the process of treatment. For the key bats, the key working force, we would like to reserve them to the patients with critical or severe situation that help us to increase the cure rate. Thank you.
白求恩精神薪火相传。请问吉林大学白求恩第一医院在援助武汉的危重症救治上有哪些创新举措？谢谢。
We talk about the spirit of Baisyuan has been carrying forward in First Hospital of Dalian University. So can you talk more about your work in this regard? So this time, after we received the arrangement made by the National Health Commission, we organized the best personnel in the hospitals, and we right now has conducted 10 days on the clinical work. So we establish the ICU environment in normal or general wards. For the Zhongfa Xincheng campus, actually their wards is renovated based on the standards of the infectious disease hospitals. So they short of the supplies. So we work with Dalian University and also reported the situation to the president of the hospital and the party committee. So the whole hospital touched great importance. That is why we dispatch the invasive, the life-supporting machine, the life-supporting, the respirator, the ECMO, and also the dialysis machine from Dalian and Shanghai to Hubei. And we talk about the result of testing also quite slow, that also hinder our work progress. So we talk about any mobile equipment that can be transported to Hubei. We all transport them all. So we created the whole ICU environment to treat our patients. I believe within a very short time period, we make this done. And we also conducted a cross-discipline remote consultation mechanism. This time we have brought 133 medics. This is the fifth batch sent to Hubei Province. We have the 63 years old, the director from the Department of Cerebral Surgery. And we also have the nursing Gaolan and Zhang Tao, they are the head of the nurses, so they have rich experience. For the patients, the elderly age, or deal with underlying diseases. So in our hotel, we conducted a remote medical system. So a big team in Dalian actually provide a good support to us and give us a lot of good guidance on the clinical treatment. I believe this is really a good help to us. And we also make this remote or the telemedicine as our daily practice. And we do everything we can to treat the patients with critical or severe conditions. The sixth batch actually will send the 4 medics, so they from the different departments, such as the department of the cerebral surgery. We talk about this time we use ECMO, we use the dialysis machine. We also use the nosocomial tube. Actually, this is not a big challenge to the ICU medics, but think about you doctors wearing goggles, face shade, the protective suits. A very simple operation actually, because all these protective equipment make the simple work hard. So we also have the doctors from the Department of Cerebral Surgery to help us to use ECMO, and we also have the doctors from the radiology. We have the doctors from the anesthesiology to help us to use the nasal tube for therapy treatment. We talk about actually the patients suffering a lot mentally. So we see they have the anxiety or distress, or they have a tendency of suicide. So for the patients with mild condition, we believe we should give them more psychological counseling. So that's why we also have the nurses and the doctors from the psychological department to help our patients. Thank you. With China Daily, based on the media report, that's the patients cured from the Zhongfa Xincheng Hospital. That's a patient after the operation of kidney transplant. So talk about that patient that's admitted in Zhongfa Xincheng campus on the February 6th. Talk about the patients with the renal transplant. Actually, their immune system quite weak, especially compared to the normal standards, and they're also suffering from the chronic diseases. Once they contract COVID-19, the development actually was really fast, so that attached very big challenge to us to treat this group of patients. If we stop giving the inhibitors to a group of patients with renal transplant, then the transplant kidney could not work well, so that basically showed the rejection reaction. So this is a question posed to us, how we can reach the balance. So that's why we conduct a group of experts for consultation. Department of Transplant believe that after the renal transplant, the patient actually received the operation 12 years already, so they can stop the inhibitors for a while. Otherwise, we could not stop the deterioration of COVID-19. So we work together with the medics from different provinces. We formulate a really detail-driven treatment plan for these patients. And we also give the antiviral medicine and the hormone. That hormone can help to curb the COVID-19 and improve the immune system. So 3 days later, the patient the appetite is improved, and the symptoms such as fever was gone. So we conduct another round of consultation. So in order to prevent rejection reaction, we give half dose of inhibitors. 6 days later, we checked the NAT that shows negative results and no fever symptoms. We checked CT imaging, much improved. So after the 9 days of he admitted to the hospitals, we checked NAT again. It shows another negative, and we also checked the renal function. And we give back the full dose of the renal transplant medicine. So this is the case and how we treated the patients with renal transplant. So these patients were cured and discharged from the hospitals, which shows that this is a concerted effort of the medics in Tongji Hospital and the medical staff from other provinces, and this is also because of the cross-discipline therapeutic plan. So this patient was discharged on February 17th. So this gave us a great confidence. We will keep summarizing the good exercise and also increase the cure rate. Thank you. Hubei Daily. The Beijing hospital actually quite strong in the department of geriatrics. So a lot of people actually with underlying diseases such as the hypertension. So what's your experience in this regard? Thank you for your question. As we know, the Peking University Hospital is the center of the geriatrics, and we touch great attention to the development of COVID-19. We also got to learn about the elderly patients. Quite a large proportion of patients with the severe or critical cases. We received the announcement given by the NHC that on the eve of Chinese New Year, we organized the whole team, and we also consider we should have the medics from Department of Respiratory and the Critical Care Medicine, Nursing, Infectious Disease. We also need to have the doctor from other departments. So we have from the digestive system, the infectious disease, ICUs, CCM, cerebral surgery, TCM, the radiology, and Department of Iconography. We know for the elderly people, actually, they have different underlying diseases. So on top of the underlying disease, the patients, the elderly people with COVID-19, they will suffer a lot. So during the treatment, our observation is that many elderly people, elderly patients, their clinical manifestation may be caused by their underlying disease. Some of them because of COVID-19. For example, one patient, we gave a non-invasive respirator. The therapy index and other body index quite stable, but when we double-check the chest X-ray, we found actually the patient suffered quite severe inflammation at the lungs. So we gave the invasive therapy of oxygen. So that shows that for the patients with senior age, they had their own features. And we also work with other medical teams, and we also established our cross-discipline mechanism. As we know, it's not all the doctors and nurses arrive at the isolation wards. How we can leverage the strengths of experts and provide the best targeted therapeutic plan to the patients. So we should have this cross-discipline mechanism. So at the very beginning, we had the inwards, outwards, in hotel, the consultation mechanism, as well as the remote mechanism with the experts in Beijing. So our consultation mechanism happen every day. So this morning, we also have the video conference with the clinical performance. So through the video, we can see live the results of the imaging, and we discussed together to set up the therapeutic plan. So we decide which department should get involved, what kind of the plans we need to use, what kind of medicines we should add in or take off. So I believe this is the leverage, the strength of cross-discipline. And talking about giving the treatment to the elderly people, we also need to think about the other considerations. So for the patients, they suffering from the underlying or chronic disease, so they take in several medicines. So we should think about the medicals, make sure the medicals not contradict to each other. And as we mentioned, the patient, no matter in which age group, we have noticed that the senior patients, they need to get more care in terms of psychological counseling. So they not have a rich resources of getting information. So they not really get used to use smartphones to get information about COVID-19. And because of the COVID-19 is a novel disease, it's a learning curve for everyone. So for the elderly people, they have a limited knowledge of medicine, so it's quite hard for them to learn a lot of knowledge of novel coronavirus. So that can cause them to have some the anxiety or distress. And we have noticed this situation, and we give the care and the psychological counseling to the patients. So some patients, maybe their family members in quarantine or receive treatment, their daily necessities cannot be in place. So the Zhongfa Xincheng campus gives some support, and our medics also taking a proactive measures in this regard. We also help the patient to prepare some daily necessities that help to mitigate their anxiety of our patient, and help them to have more confidence to win the battle. And we also have a quite good team of the Department of TCM, and also we have the TCM department that's also the national benchmark. So at the very beginning, we had the director of Department of TCM in our team. He inspected the ward on a regular basis and also use the TCM method to streamline all the patients. We use some TCM medicine in the protocol, and we also use some the oral intake for the patients. And today, with the support and help of Tongji Hospital, and today we can start to use the TCM pills to treat our patients. I believe in the coming future, TCM play a greater role and bring the benefits to the patients. And we also have the expert from Department of Iconography. The Department of the Iconography collected all the patients, no matter it's did in the Zhongfa Xincheng campus or in other campus or other hospitals, collected all the images together. That's really helpful for us to make the clinical decisions, because that can help us to closely monitor the development of patients. Some patients, their situation develops really quickly. So if we can collect all these imagings, that's very helpful, and it also set a high requirement on our medics. So our people from the doctors from the Department of iconographies actually need to stay really close and detail-oriented efforts to monitor the development of the disease. I believe this is really important for us to monitor the patients, especially the elderly patients. For the 50 patients, their average age of 60.2 years old. That's our number. The highest age is 91 years old. So when we're giving the treatment to the elderly patients, our observation is we should treat their disease, but also need to pay attention to their underlying or chronic diseases. So if we can treat their underlying or chronic disease well, that also lays solid foundation for us to treat well their COVID-19. So we found that from imaging that we found some similarities related to the heart. So we also monitor the index of their blood test, and we also found from the imaging that the blood white cell 6 increased. That also reflects the level of inflammation inside the body. I believe all because of these small observations that can help us to modify the medicine we're giving to the patients or the tests we need to monitor. So this is some good learning we have recently. Thank you. My question to the Zhongfa Xincheng campus, because the Tongji Hospital Zhongfa Xincheng campus has identified as designated hospitals for patients with critical and severe symptoms. So I would like to learn more about the taking over mechanism. So how that can place how can that play its role to increase the cure rate and lowering the mortality rate? Thank you for your question. That's a very important point. For our hospitals, we are the 5th batch to aid Hubei. So the second hospital, third hospital of Dalian universities already sent their team to Hubei. So for our mechanism, actually, we have taken the total taking over mechanism. So we took over one ward in Zhongfa Xincheng campus. So this taking over mechanism, which means the hospital giving the assistance to use its whole team to take over one ward in the Tongji hospitals. Because within one team, we quite know each other very well. We create that chemistry already, so that can help us to better leverage the strengths of the medical team and also can give a reasonable therapeutic plan among the team. The team quite familiar with each other, and we also have a coordinated working process. And second, and that also can better leverage resources we have at our home base. I believe a lot of team, when we arrived in Hubei, we faced the same situations like of medical supplies. So with this limited condition, how we can conduct our work to treat patients with severe or critical conditions. This is a common question for all the medical teams when they arrived in Hubei. I believe that's also the benefit of taking over mechanism. For our hospitals, we arrived in the Hubei, a Dalian hospital, Dalian University, and our first hospital of Dalian universities at all costs send a group of new the equipment such as respirator, the ECMO, and the dialysis machine arrived in Hubei from Dalian and Shanghai. I believe that when we have all this machine in place, that help us to buy more time to cure our patients, increase the cure rate, and lower the mortality rate. And third, we have a stronger working force. Under the unified deployment and arrangement of CBC Central Committee, we take a fast and strong implementation. I believe that's also one of the strengths of taking over mechanism. The National Health Commission raised the new requirements and the new protocols to the different hospitals, and I believe we also can have a better understanding of the policies and the measures. I believe the taking over mechanism is critical for the treatment of patients because right now we're at a very important juncture of containment efforts. And we're also facing a higher requirement on the treating the patients, help us to lower the mortality rate and increase the cure rate. Thank you. One last question. So we talk about people talk the national team to the first batch of team arrived in Tongji hospitals. So for the national team, which means the team first arrived in Tongji Hospital, how Beijing Hospital played your role? Thank you for your question. As one of the national team, we're proud of ourselves, our strengths, and our unique part is we leverage the strengths of Beijing hospitals. So my observation is that we have rich experience and expertise. So talking about the treating the patients is not related to the infectious disease or respiratory medicine. We also have a very strict and stringent the consultation mechanism, the ward inspection, ward the mechanism all in place. For Peking University this time, we also signed a team of other the hospitals under Peking University, like the Peking University Renmin Hospital also took over one ward. So we sent 3 hospital teams to Hubei and we work together as one team. Every day we will conduct the discussions on the cases. We learn from the cases and we make progress together. We have experts arrived in Tongji Hospital, but for this disease is a learning curve for everyone. We're learning by doing. For people from Peking universities, we can better leverage our mechanism. After arrived in Tongji hospitals, we found that the patients actually their situation developed really fast, unexpected. CT test is a really good way to check the imaging, but it's quite hard to conduct on a frequent system. And actually, sometimes the word actually quite hard for us to conduct the test. That's why we also bring the ultrasound test to check the changes inside their bodies, how the lungs changes. I believe this is something we found during our work and also help us to increase the cure rate. And also we have a fast learning features of our hospitals. And every day we organize the medics to learn the policies, learn the new methods, the new result of the science research and development, and hope to bring them to the clinical practice as early as possible. That also showed our responsibility as one of the national team. Last but not the least, we have a team of 100 nurses. That team of nursing play a big role. The Department of Nursing actually practiced quite a long time about our Sunshine program that showed our care and love to our patients. We bring the same mechanism to the Tongji Hospital. We hope that within 3 meters of the surrounding environment, we hope we can express our love and kind and care to the patients in order to lower the fatality rate. Thank you all the speakers, and thank you all the media. And that's for today's press conference.